Welcome to the Run Lift Mom podcast, where we're talking about running, lifting, and momming, not necessarily in that order. Today, we are going to be squarely in the running and momming categories because we are talking about stroller running. Many of you know that I am the former Guinness World Record holder for half marathon pushing a triple pram. I have got two women here today, Pi Bell and Sherry Armitage, who one-up me in that sense. These are quad moms who have recently completed a half marathon, that's 13.1 miles, pushing a 200 plus pounds if I'm being real, quad stroller. So I'm talking to them about being a mom of multiples. I'm talking to them about what it's like to run with this thing and what it was like to race with it and their relationship with running. Real talk, y'all. This is not the best audio I've ever had on this podcast. It's just not. I'm hoping that you'll be forgiving of me. I'm hoping it's not too offensive to your ears. But here's the thing. One, we have 15 children between the three of us. And then two, it was a really great, delightful conversation. And I don't want you to miss out on things like the importance of tribe, what it's like racing with a 200-pound monstrosity, and also having the right reasons for running and fitness and exercise. These women are inspirations. I'm so excited to share this with you. Without further ado, here is Pi Bell and Sherry Armitage. We have
15. You have 15 between us. Got it. You're welcome.
Whoa, 15. Wow. We have got three mothers, 15 kids between us on the phone at the same time. I think that right there is a win. We haven't even started. No. So I want to jump right in here. Pi, will you tell me a little bit just about your background, about your kids, and kind of hit on your personal story and your why?
I will. I'll make it as brief as possible because it's long. We had a lot of trouble with infertility for a very long time. We wanted another baby, another baby. We already had one. She was 13 at the time. And we got, after very many rounds of everything you can imagine, finally got pregnant with quadruplets, identical triplet boys and fraternal girl. Everything was normal. Pregnancy was, what you would expect for a quad pregnancy. And then, surprise, they started coming at 23 weeks and 3 days. They held off labor, and then they were born at 24 weeks and 2 days. We spent 5 months in the NICU, 5+ months in the NICU. They've been through cumulatively 17 different surgeries, collapsed lungs, infections, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We unfortunately lost my oldest son after a week to a pretty big brain bleed and hydrocephalus. My survivors, the two boys are autistic. They have varying medical complications and developmental delays, but they're 4.5 years old now and doing things that they were never supposed to be able to do, like walk and talk. And Miriam is not blind like they told us that she would be. And they are, the epitome of miracles. And so I obviously stay home with them because they do a lot of therapy and raise as much awareness, I guess, for prematurity and the whole, obviously they were premature because they were quadruplets, but also that it's not just multiples that are born that early.
Yeah.
It's everyone. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing about your son. I know you think of him every day. It's wild to hear, it's wild to hear you say these things like, oh, and yeah, they've got this and that, like, probably because you're so used to telling this story, but I know that the listeners out there, like their jaws are on the ground. Because that's 17 cumulatively surgeries.
Yeah, they've had various issues, but they Charlie's the most medically complicated and he gives the biggest issues. But then my bookends, my oldest, she's now 18, and then my youngest is 2.5. Yes, we had another one after all that. They are medically fine. So thankfully those two, they're just sassy and crazy, and one's 18 and a pain in my what.
And then Pi, you met Sherry online. Tell me how you guys met. And of course,
I
Sherry,
did.
I want to hear your story as well.
We both,
Okay.
I don't even know how Sherry got in, how she found out. I had a mutual friend who invited me to this. There's actually a quad moms group on Facebook, and it's worldwide. And I think there's only, Sherry, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it's over 400 people. And it's ages ranging from, just born or pregnant to, I think there's some that are like in their 20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all over the place. And then Sherry and I don't know, you read all the posts and everything, and you kind of start to realize that what you have in common with certain moms. And Sherry and I started just kind of clicked. And she actually reached out to me at one point over something. And we just started talking and actually not actually talking, just emailing and then texting. And we're across the country from each other. But she and I both have a lot in common, and we get along really well.
Definitely.
That is awesome. So Sherry, tell me a little bit. It's so cool. People think I'm a novelty because I'm a triplet mom, and wow, there's 3, and I've got 2 quad moms on the phone. I'm fangirling over here. Sherry, tell me a little bit about yourself and your family.
So I married my husband. He has a 21-year-old. He doesn't live with us. Shortly after we got married, we were trying to get pregnant, and it had to stem from an eating disorder, a history of an eating disorder. And so we had to go the whole infertility route, and ended up pregnant on our second IUI with quadruplets. Well, it was my first pregnancy, and so the doctors were kind of terrified, but it's kind of weird. 2 other quad moms at the hospital that I would be at that year, and there were only 3 total. About raising money for prematurity and just awareness and everything about prematurity, because for me, one of the biggest things that I like to talk about, not just prematurity, is just the women's health in pregnancy. Because Georgia has a D, and the Chatham County, the county that I delivered in, actually has an F in prematurity and women's health, and it's just astonishing. But honestly, all that stuff just comes down to luck. You can do everything perfect and still end up delivering early, but we somehow managed to carry to 31 weeks. 31
wow.
Weeks. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
I was measuring 54 weeks pregnant the day before I gave birth. So,
wow. And was it, so is that like as far as they wanted to take you? I'm assuming you didn't go into labor.
Into labor. The other quad moms had all carried almost to 34 weeks, but it was their second pregnancy, and they all started off a little bit heavier than me. I did go into labor, and I was on it, but the doctors were just great, and the kids always in the hospital, and we got to bring all 4 of them home together on New Year's Eve. So,
cool. So let me back up, because I know, like, to the 3 of us on the phone, this is not that interesting. To folks out there, I know it's going to be incredibly interesting. As a triplet mom, first of all, they're like, okay, you have to gain at least half of your body weight, and they need to eat about 5,000 calories a day. And for my audience, this is because with multiples pregnancies, mom's weight gain is correlated with baby's weight at birth. So it's really important.
Absolutely.
5,000 calories a day. It sounds like fun. And it was fun for like a day.
No.
And then it was awful.
Horrible. It's impossible. It's so hard.
So what did you guys like? Pi, can you remember any like go-to what was your like Michael Phelps style meal when you were pregnant?
There wasn't. Sherry, I think you've said the same thing. It was I basically like walked around with a protein bar in my mouth all day and a gallon of water and was like walking back and forth at work to and from the bathroom. I was like, you all are paying me to eat and go potty. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Counselor, and I had to run 3-hour groups, and it got to where I had to break every hour to go eat something because I could only eat a little bit at a time because I felt like I didn't have space.
Oh, funny. Yeah. So it's fun for about a day to think about eating all that food. And that's it.
It's
McDonald's
hard, man.
French fries. McDonald's French fries every day. Every day.
So let's shift in and talk a little bit about running. We're all three on the phone, not just because we have a lot of kids, but because we are stroller mother runners who go even beyond that double bob. Now, you guys both outdo me, and I'm so impressed by it. So, Pi, you were first on my radar when a mutual friend told me about you. I, of course, did a half marathon in 2016 to celebrate the homecoming anniversary from our kids from the NICU. And she told me, oh, here's somebody who's doing a quad. So tell me a little bit about your race and just your journey with running.
It was actually another connection. Sherry's the reason that I started running, because she kept telling me that if I just kept doing it, I would get bit by the running bug. And honestly, I think I actually still hate it, but I like the before and after, and I really like race medals.
Yeah.
And she was like, if you just keep doing it, I swear you're gonna love it. And I was like, I think you're freaking nuts. So she convinced me, and I did a 5K, and she was like, do it, you're gonna love it. And then was like, it's all right. And then it took me a solid 6 months before I was like, maybe I'll do a 10K. That was kind of cool. And then I told Sherry, I was like, I think I'm going to do a half. Why not? She was like, yeah, sure. Seems like like both of us. I look back on it, on that conversation that you and I had, Sherry, and think, why would anyone in their right mind be like, you should totally do this? That makes perfect sense.
Now, were you a runner prior to?
Nope, I was not. See, all Sherry's fault.
Now, Sherry, were you a runner prior to your quads?
I got into running when I got into treatment. I committed myself to an eating disorder unit in 2006. Met a girl there who lived about an hour away from me. And once we both got out, she said, come run a 5K with me. I did. But it was really unhealthy. And that's, one thing I like to point out is it was strictly, I was running in order to eat the food that I had to eat to maintain the weight so that I didn't go back into treatment. It was really unhealthy. But I did run a lot of 5Ks and mini triathlons. I biked a lot, and I found that I really did love it. And as I continued with therapy, it did become my other source of therapy. Then I injured my knee in 2009. Then I met my husband and got into grad school and was working full time, and running took the back burner until the end of 2012 when we were struggling with infertility. And I could tell that I was struggling mentally with accepting that, and I started back running again.
Okay, so as a coping technique.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. It is. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I run. That's. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to know your backgrounds. It's really kind of cool that you guys come from different, pre-baby running backgrounds. We need to stop though and back up. When we say you're running for children. So let's clarify that. Talk to me a little bit. I want people to be able to picture what these strollers look like. What kind of weight are we talking here? Talk to me a little bit about that.
I know Sherry just weighed hers. Her kids are bigger than mine. I think I've tried to do the math in my head. It's a long stroller. It looks like a roller coaster.
5 feet long, right?
A sleigh. That's what people keep telling me it looks like. It looks like a sleigh. I don't know. But they're one in back of the other. It's not 2 and 2 or whatever. And Sherry and I both have the same kind of stroller. And it's 3 wheels. Wait, yeah, 3 wheels. And
the front doesn't swivel, so you have to press down on the handlebar to make it turn, which is loads of fun.
I have no idea. Sherry, do you know how much the stroller actually weighs without kids in it?
So mine weighed, with that little basket, it was 54.
Wow. Okay, that's what I was guessing. Yeah. My kids are smaller. And someone taught me, I can't even remember who it was, that whenever we go out, you always take lightweight snacks. You don't get the heavy stuff. You're not getting like sauce pouches. You get Pirate's Booty fruit snacks, things that don't weigh a whole lot, and water, but that's kind of a necessity. And then as little as possible goes in there. I mean, I don't let them take like toys or anything, because no, don't add extra weight. The only thing that has to go is Charlie's G-tube fed, so the only thing that has to go is his G-tube crap, and that's the only other stuff that weighs anything.
So it's so different from, we've probably got some mothers of single or even that push a double stroller. It's so different. Like when you're pushing a single stroller, it's like, oh, let's pack all the things to entertain the child.
No.
And you're saying, hey kid, you can't have applesauce pouches. You get that baggie of Pirate's Booty because it doesn't weigh anything.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's it weighs a lot, and it's like, it's not. I've pushed a double bob. Somebody let me push it, and they're so, I mean, they basically stroll themselves. They don't have to put any effort into it. And then you get behind this thing with all these kids, and without the kids, I'm like, God bless, this thing is a pain in the butt to push. But
well, and I got mine third hand. So I was the third quad family that had it. My mother-in-law actually drove to Virginia to pick it up. So it's got some miles on it. I don't think the other moms ran with it, but it's definitely got some miles on it. So it is not rolling any smoother anymore. It's
and they have those, like, what kind of tires are they, Sherry? They're not rubber. They're not like air filled.
They're not air filled. They're like non-flattening. They're like a foam. It's like a foam.
Okay.
So yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't dig into the ground well, or anything. There's no tread on it.
Yeah.
If you stop, it's like.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So instead of like a cyclist that chooses some carbon fiber bike that's really sweet and makes him a better athlete, this is like the opposite of that.
God, I wish they should make that, though. That would be amazing.
Now, Sherry, when you weighed it, because you did very recently, you did a half marathon with your quad stroller. Can you just speak to so we know the stroller weighs 54 pounds, and then talk to me about the weights of your 4 kids and give us a grand total.
Yeah, so I have some big kids. They have grown a lot in the past year, and so total, without counting like their snacks and their sippy cups, I did run with their sippy cups, but only because they always had them, and I didn't want to run with my water, and it was cold and windy that morning, so I was like, then try to give you water at the water station. So it ended up being 207 pounds.
207 pounds for 13.1 miles.
13.3.
Yeah, girl, you take that extra.
That was hard.
Wow, that is amazing. And I know, Pi, you've had a half marathon experience with your quad stroller as well.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you guys to talk to me a little bit. I mean, this is the Run Lift Mom podcast. So methinks a lot of runners have done races before. And we know what it's like to be out there in a race field, the camaraderie of the other runners, the spectators. I want to know a little bit about other people's reactions to you.
It was interesting. A lot of people would go by it. You get the same comments that, Susie, I would bet you get. Oh wow, you have your hands full. It's like, yes.
Are they all yours?
I'm definitely running, and I'm aware that my hands are very full at the moment. Or it was, people would come up and say, oh wait, there's 4. It's like, yeah, I counted them when I was putting them in. It was always those comments that you kind of want to go, no, not right now. Stop talking. Now's not the time. But there were some, I actually liked the race guards, the what are they called? The EMTs that like ride through the races with you. They were the most encouraging. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. And cheers from the spectators and that kind of thing?
Yeah, we the one that I ran was on it's called the Silver Strand. It runs from Coronado to Imperial Beach. And so there's actually not a lot you don't run past a whole lot. I mean, you run, it's through or past two different harbors. And then the last 3 miles, though, I don't know what they were thinking on this route, goes back and forth through a neighborhood, and then you pass a bunch of bars. So that was kind of cool because by that time, it's Sunday morning, people are brunching it and drinking Bloody Marys. And at the end, it was helpful because those last 3 miles, man, that's when I was like, why am I doing this? But actually, at that point, I was actually getting texts from Sherry, and she was like, you're going faster. Go, you're doing good. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to do this anymore. Why am I doing this?
You touch on something really cool, and that's just tribe, right? Like having other people in similar walks of life that will support you and encourage you. You guys, obviously you have each other. There's that niche group of quad moms, and then your quad running moms on top of that. How about the support that you have just in your local communities?
Well,
Sherry, you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been really, really blessed heel mode. I was sleeping very little. Pi and I both breastfed and pumped late. So I think I made it to like 18 months was the final pumping day for me or something. So I was exhausted all the time, but I found this group, and I just fell in love with them. I was so intimidated initially when I went because I was so out of shape and exhausted and just feeling like I'm not going to fit in. But the ladies just kept loving on me and kept telling me I could do it and encouraged me to do it. And I did.
Stroller?
Yeah, I've done it a total of 7 times.
Whoa, Nelly. For the folks that have never run with a stroller, so lest you think that push up was the hardest part, when you've got all that weight in the stroller, that decline is a bear.
Yes.
Shreds my abs. Shreds them. It is
your
so
abs, not your legs?
No, my legs are completely fine. It is my abs. I'm pulling it back. So I'm 5'9", so my arms have to extend all the way to reach the handlebar. And so I have to strap things around my waist to hold on to the stroller. And it's
no, I didn't realize you did it that way. No, man, downhill is harder. My legs. I always tease it. It's like a bowling ball. Get out of the way because I'm not stopping.
I have to ask, ladies, I mean, why not? I bet we've got some people out there thinking, these women are insane. Why don't they just get a treadmill or a babysitter? Why is it important for you to go to the Stroller Strong Moms group or go to these races when it takes so much kind of red tape and logistical planning?
2 things, 2 reasons. Well, first of all, we're military, so we don't have there's never people that I trust with my kids here when you move that much, that. Mm-hmm. But my kids are so encouraging when they're not being little jerks. They're really good at go faster, mommy. And when we did it was the Silver Strand half in November, they were actually smack talking the other runners. Slow down, throwing fruit snacks at people. But I like them seeing it. I hope that, lead by example kind of thing. And I want them to be, they've got so many things going against them when it comes to their health. I hope that they can, they won't be runners because their lungs, but do something else, hopefully.
Yeah, they will.
What was my favorite part of that? Y'all, I don't know. I don't know if it was when Sherry said, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I run. Or when Pi, who is the most reluctant runner I've ever heard, said, I do it because I really like race medals. Ladies, that was so much fun, and I just want to commend you. You both will do more this week for your children's wellness and general health than I will for my kids all year long. The fact that you're managing their health like that, managing your health and fitness the way that you are, and getting out there and sweating and showing us that anything is possible is hugely inspiring. Thank you for everybody who hung in with my bad audio. I know what the issue was, but again, I'm not going to ask. We have 15 kids between the three of us, and we're in different time zones. I'm not asking these moms to get on the phone again. So grant me forgiveness this time and take my promise that I will try to not have that happen again. Until I get into your earpiece again, remember, for while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also the life to come. That's from 1 Timothy 4:8, and this has been the Run Lift Mom podcast. Hey, Run Lift Mom listeners, you know I'm the mom of 4 kids under age 5, and therefore I am always looking for ways to work smart, not hard. Anchor is the smartest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you why. First of all, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, but Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so then it can be heard on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole lot more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is quite literally everything you need all in one place. And y'all, it's free. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's time for the Zaya Active item of the week, and this week, it's the high-rise, light and tight pocket capris. Why? Because of the pockets. There's a difference between decorative pockets and functional pockets. Functional pockets, you can put your phone in and do your thing in the gym while your child is in the daycare and have that peace of mind that everything's okay. And if it's not, guess what? You got your phone on you. I'm currently training for the Boston Marathon, and I love being able to put my phone with a big honky OtterBox in my pocket and it doesn't bounce around or slip out. I've had customers tell me they put everything from keys and wallets and pacifiers, water bottles, pepper spray, stun guns, even cans of tuna down in these things. I mostly hang out on Instagram, so if you go over there and do hashtag What's in Your Pocket Wednesday, you're going to see some of this stuff. Speaking of the socials, you can find me at hashtag RunLiftMom. You're going to see many, many photos of the high-rise light and tight pocket capri. It's not only the item of the week, it's my favorite Zaya item. Like what you heard? I am just getting started with the Run Lift Mom podcast. And as a newbie podcaster, it is really helpful for me if you subscribe, rate, and review. And to show you just how much I appreciate that, I'm going to be giving away a Zaya Active item of the week every single week during the month of February. I am calling this my Galentine's celebration, and here's how it works. If you have left a review, you are already in the drawing. If you haven't left a review, I would appreciate your honest words. So go ahead and leave a review, and then every single week I'm going to be doing a drawing for that item of the week. Get excited. I'm new. Your odds are good. I want you to experience Zaya as well as the knowledge our great guests are giving us about running, lifting, and momming. Ladies, thank you so much for coming on with me. And you guys have never spoken live, right?
No.
Yay!